something that everybody knows, right? Like, okay, sleep well, eat well, move well, drink enough water, don't take as much stress as you take, and you'll be fit and fine. A lot of people know this. But why do you think it's so hard to execute it?
I mean, I'd say it's actually a cycle. Everything is interconnected. You know, if you've not hydrated yourself, you can't work out effectively.
Correct.
If you've not slept, then the next day the workout, your energy level is affected. If you've not meditated, then your stress levels have been higher and sleep gets affected. So I think these 5 or 6 parameters, when you look at it very comprehensively, that is when, and that's why it's hard.
Hi everyone, welcome to the episode 4 of Let's Talk Basics. And today we have Shruti with us and of course Nitish. So Shruti works as a director in climate and sustainability. We would love to know more about the details from her itself. Today we are going to talk about her journey with Back to Basics, what her daily life looks like, what struggles she faces, and we are going to have some interesting conversation around that. So let's get started. Hi Shruti.
Hi Nikita.
How are you feeling? Good?
Feeling okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with telling a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Shruti. I work in Social Alpha. This is an impact investment firm.
Okay.
And I work in the climate and sustainability vertical.
Okay.
Been in this organization for the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I mean, can you just take us through a little bit of how hectic your work schedule is? Because I mean, that's kind of been a constant when we've kind of conversed as well. So would like to kind of have our viewers understand how your work schedule looks like.
So I think typically it is a fairly hectic schedule and mostly I have a lot of work travel also associated with my role, which sort of makes sticking to a routine very difficult, especially when it comes to physical workout routines or sticking to a certain kind of nutrition or walking or anything for that matter. For the last couple of months it's been easier and I'm cherishing as long as the situation remains that way.
Yeah.
Okay. When you say travel, is it more of local travel or say, I mean, within the country or international as well, or how is it? I mean, within the city, or are you off for a good 4 or 5 days or something like that? How when you say travel, how hectic is it?
Yeah, so within the country, I mean, sometimes it's lasted up to 2 weeks at a stretch, but mostly it's about a week away
and
from
how
frequently?
home. How frequently does this happen? Like,
I'd say once a quarter. Where we are doing 2-3 weeks at a stretch, and then 2-3 days.
And which kind of becomes very, it puts you off track every 3 months if you have to kind of travel for that 2-3 weeks. Yeah.
That's been my challenge in terms of sticking to a routine for the last 10 years actually.
Yeah.
Because I've had an even more intense travel role before this, where I was out for 15-20 days a month.
Okay.
And every time I sort of signed up for something, I'd have this time away, and then by the time I came back, I'd feel very guilty that I've been out of a routine.
Yeah.
And so the motivation to go back to it would be low. And before you know it, you're again on the road.
Right.
So,
So it's always starting from the scratch,
Yes.
going for it, like every time, like that. And it's been going like that for many years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was discussing with Nikita also. I think we should definitely ask Shruti about one point. As like you've seen multiple sides of the spectrum. I wouldn't even say 2 sides. I'll say multiple sides of the spectrum when it comes to your journey. In the sense that you've been more sedentary early in your life. Then you've kind of figured out, okay, you need to start doing certain things. You took some steps, worked out, didn't work out. Took some extreme measures in terms of diet or everything as well. But finally stuck to something that worked out. But there also you had a pause where you couldn't stick to the routine, but you bounced back. So one major thing that we wanted your opinion on was, why do you think people find it hard to get out of the sedentary lifestyle? Like, I mean, a lot of people realize that it's not good for them, but what is the driving factor according to you which pushes them to stay in that state itself? Nobody likes being in a sedentary lifestyle, right? Everybody knows that, yes, I don't want to be
Movement
this
is
way
necessary.
is necessary.
In
I
some
want to
way.
get started. But what is it according to you that is holding them back? They kind of, why is procrastination such a big thing according to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think different drivers for different people. Like this time, I thought I'm going to get back in January after the break that I had taken when I was out, and by the time I realized I was traveling so frequently, the whole quarter, and I thought, okay, next week when I get back, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then I had visibility on my next travel schedule. So it always, I always felt like I was deferring for when the time is right, for when my schedule would be ideal. But I think the key is that your schedule will never be ideal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like whether it is work, whether it's personal stuff, say with family, or somebody's sickness, medical issues, your own health issues,
Yeah.
something or the other is always going to come up. And in the midst of it, to realize that you need to do something little to just keep yourself going, as opposed to like striving for the perfect routine.
Exactly.
So for me, I think that learning was key, because I always wanted to be at a place where I can sleep 8 hours,
Perfect.
where I'm not having any junk, where I'm working out regularly, and everything is in line.
Yeah, yeah.
But and that's where that lifestyle score was great, because I tell my husband as well that, oh, if I had an aerated drink today, my lifestyle score tomorrow is going to be affected. And it is, even if I don't work out someday, but other parameters are largely on
Yeah.
track, it's not like your score has gone for a toss.
Yes.
And it doesn't demotivate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of nudges you to get to the next day and to keep reinforcing that regime, that
Exactly.
schedule in your life. So I mean, I'd say different drivers for everyone, but for
Exactly.
me, I think this kind of worked because I had a flavor of it last year.
Huh.
Right.
About doing it
Right.
for about 45 days continuously,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
seeing how it made me feel.
Feel.
Yeah.
You remember we had this conversation also when you were saying that I am not feeling it anymore because I don't have that in me that I should do it. So I was telling you, just feel it. You will find your way soon. So I can totally understand like what you must be feeling in that phase. But now when you're back at it, I think you are so consistent. Like I should say that, because you post your scores so regularly, and sometimes it's almost above 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, more than the score in itself, I think what we've tried to imbibe is kind of make it a daily ritual to see and check your score.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we all understand, right? You're not going to ace, or say you're not going to get 100 on 100 every time.
Yeah.
But then the point of writing an exam is that you should always look forward to reaching there.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It is just
Yeah.
an accountability thing or things like that.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think you've been very vocal in using the lifestyle score,
Yeah.
even on the community also for that matter, highlighting the pluses of it, how it has helped you stick to a routine and everything. So when you kind of got back, of course you started off, I think in mid November or something, right?
Last
First
year,
time,
no?
yeah, last year,
Last
end of
year in
last
October
quarter
or
you started
November.
off starting with back to basics. Then I mean your work schedule kind of took a hit, and then because of which you couldn't be consistent in the Jan, Feb, March. But once you got back, this time you've been fairly consistent
Yeah.
across the 3 months. We are almost approaching the last week. Next week is
Yeah.
going to be the 12th week. What is that one thing that has helped you get back and stay consistent here? That one. And at the same time, why do you feel, primarily what we do is again like, right, we just focus on doing certain simple things and repeatedly do it. So that it kind of gets registered in your muscle memory. But at the same time, it's something that everybody knows, right? Like, okay, sleep well, eat well, move well, drink enough water, don't take as much stress as you take, and you'll be fit and fine. A lot of people know this. But why do you think it's so hard to execute it?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole purpose of Lifestyle Score that we built was to help people, okay, get it
Yeah.
done, we'll help you ace this.
Yeah.
Build those habits and everything. So I think you have seen that from both lens now. You've been a part of it, then you got inconsistent and then got back. So would want to know from that perspective as to why do you feel people find it hard to fix simpler things, and what do you feel has helped you now stay consistent once again?
I mean, I'd say it's actually a cycle. everything is interconnected. You know, if you've not hydrated yourself, you can't work out effectively.
Correct.
If you've not slept, then the next day the workout, your energy level is affected. If you've not meditated, then your stress levels have been higher and sleep gets affected. So I think these 5 or 6 parameters, when you look at it very comprehensively, that is when, and that's why it's hard. Because you can't do everything all at once.
Correct.
Even if you do, there are weeks where you ace it, and then there are weeks when life gets the better of you. So I think this quarter, I'd say, 65-70% of the times, all of it has happened together, which is why it's felt very nice while doing it. And for me, for my knee also, as I was telling you, like when I do all of these things, my knee pain is nil.
Okay.
And that was actually the goal with which I started. That, I get to a point where everyday things don't be a challenge. And even if I'm traveling or I'm running, between airports and all of that, earlier it used to be a challenge. So I think the more I do weight bearing exercises, that niggling thing from my mind goes away. And maybe that's the primary driver.
Interesting, yes.
So when you travel, like, are you still able to manage certain aspects, or is it like the same as before?
I'd say walking, definitely. That's something that I'm able to manage everywhere. Working out, I tried doing and the online classes have helped. Earlier I couldn't even think about maintaining a workout routine while traveling, but I'm trying. I'm not there yet.
And do you think it's like an improvement, just the fact that you're at least trying?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I would have given up earlier. The first bout of like an intense work episode, I would have given up. I think food also. You are thinking about, when you say on the community that this needs to be a colorful plate of food, or when people are posting about these different kinds of recipes and even like healthy dessert items, your mind is constantly thinking about where can you experiment. And during work travels also, that's something that really sticks. You have your salad, or you have your fiber, and you have your protein. And
Right. So this has changed something.
I'd say to a certain degree, there's a long way to go.
Yeah. That's, I think, valid for everyone. We all have a long way to go.
Okay. And how was the feeling when you could not be consistent after you saw that, say, 6 to 8 week period before you kind of got inconsistent? Because I kind of relate to this. Touchwood, I've not been inconsistent in my journey when it comes to fitness. But whenever you fall sick, say you catch a cold, or after COVID, everybody has an incident of when they contracted COVID and everything. That 1 to 2 week period is miserable. When you don't feel your body to be at its primal best. Right? When you're training and everything, you know that okay, you ask me to do this today, I'll wake up and I'll quickly run away, I can get that done. But when you're sick, your body is not in a position to do anything. So I really like to understand from a point of view when people are not able to get consistent, how do they feel internally? Because it's very good to know a perspective from someone who's bounced back from there, because then they can say the difference. So I wanted to know from you as to how did you feel during that Jan, Feb, March period when, while you wanted to put in effort, you weren't able to?
Actually, I was quite frustrated. I was frustrated because I had done it and it felt good and I was unable to come back to it. And I think there is always a mental roadblock and it's the narrative that you set for yourself. That today I'm exhausted, I'm going to come back to it. Or that this week's not looking great, this week I've had my periods, let me come back to it next week. It's always the narrative that you're building in your mind versus when you take action and you snap back. So I'd say that period was actually quite frustrating. Because work stress had mounted, but I had no way to really regulate it because I was not doing physical activity.
Correct.
So,
and you were not, I think, in Bangalore also like that.
For a long period in time, at stretches I was not in Bangalore.
So that also kind of impacted it.
it does when you leave the
Okay.
comfort of
Exactly.
your home and your
Yeah.
routine and so
Because it's very difficult to adjust and
I mean it takes extra willpower to do it in a different location.
It's not a very,
Yeah.
what do you say, comfortable environment, or it's not a very known environment. Like whenever you go to a new place also, it takes time for you to get adjusted and everything. Fair point.
fair enough.
And how did you cope with that? Because the reason I'm asking this is, from a point of being frustrated to come back and do the same program and ace it. Why I'm saying acing it is because if you look at the previous 3 months and you look at your current 3 months, they are
Very
almost
different.
poles apart.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you look at JFM and what you're doing right now, they are poles apart. So, how did you convince yourself that, okay, I will get back at it? Because I'm sure you must have done that in JFM as well. JFM Marthals, you must have tried every week that, okay, I want to get back at it, I want to get back at it, I want to get back at it, right? Because this is something I feel a lot of people struggle with. I mean, we are a country of 140 crore people. There are so many fitness centers or solutions available per se, and it's not that people have not tried. You go and ask people, they'll know a bunch of solutions that they've tried. They tried. Everybody is super excited and motivated in January. By February, the motivation dies down, and next January is when it comes back. Right? This is the general trend that we've seen. But there are few people who break these shackles and come back in between as well. So, can we kind of figure out something that is helping them come back so that others also take some lessons from it?
I mean, I was part of that bandwagon in terms of signing up and then not showing up, or signing up and showing up for a little bit. And I think all of us have done that in some degree, that oh, you sign up with a trainer and you do 3 to 6 months, and then for whatever reason you drop off. And then it's very difficult to sort of come back.
Right.
But I do see that especially like my friends and my peers, people who are in their 30s have taken it up a lot more seriously because there is no other option.
Okay.
And I mean, I'd say that like for me, the pursuit to get healthier, I think, was always there, even if I was not able to bring it to fruition. But then you sort of start seeing these freak kinds of medical incidences happening all around you. For me, my parents' sickness was it was definitely a defining role, and I do see a lot of my friends who are also either going through their own struggles or are seeing older people in the family suffer.
Right.
So I think there comes a point when you want to take action, and when you want to take action, then everything aligns around you, where you get the medium to be able to sort of do so. Like this, I got to know about this community, I think, through Leap Club and through one of your posts. And I said, okay, I've tried going to a gym and working out. It's not worked for me. And once my routine suffers or I'm out of the city, it generally goes for a toss. I've tried yoga because of my knee. I'm not able to do it. Let me try this and see. And then something clicked where, even though I don't know 80% of the members of the community, there is a constant willingness to support each other, in terms of whatever questions that you may have, or just generally that sense of accountability is, it sort of reinforces you to get back. If you've not had a great week, if you've just worked out for a day, and the next 3 days you're seeing people posting pictures of their stretches and workouts and food, then you are just pushed back to it the next day. And so it doesn't feel guilty if I'm skipping on something this time around. And I think that's probably a difference.
Interesting.
It's very difficult to pinpoint.
And I think when people post true things about themselves, I think that helps, because you are able to relate to it also, right? They are not making up things, they are just putting it out as it is. So I think that also helps a lot when it comes to
and that everyone doesn't have it figured out. They are all learning with you along the way and trying their level best to sort of get there.
For example, this week we have not worked out at all.
We've not done a single
I have not completed my steps only. Like every day I'm I'm just doing either 2K, 3K, and I have no motivation to complete it also.
I mean,
so
we've been very busy also because
Yeah.
we couldn't get it done, and
Yeah.
we've been vocal about it also. Yes,
Yeah.
we've not been doing steps.
Yeah.
But I
as
know
close as
that
we would.
next week, once I'm back in like my
A regular
routine,
routine,
I
yeah,
will be
then you'll
doing
bounce
this.
back again.
So,
yeah.
But I think the point that we realize now is that the days when we are less active, even though we don't have the time to do it, we don't like that phase when we are not active. Like it's gotten to a point where if we are not able to get a strength training workout done, it's not good for both of us.
Yeah.
I mean that
So
that
we start fighting.
yeah, we start fighting.
Something or
we,
the
sta- we
other
get
comes.
we get super cranky. I am unbearable if I don't do a strength training workout when I can. If I can't, it's okay. I will
Yeah.
kind of keep myself sane, but otherwise,
Yeah.
it's kind of mandatory kind of thing. And I think it's good that we kind of support each other. We know that okay, let's go and get a workout done. So both will go and both will be sorted for the
Yeah.
rest
Yeah,
of that way.
yeah.
Right?
I think, I mean, that's the aspiration,
Yeah.
not the fighting part of it. But, the fact that you feel like something in your day is missing, if you've not done the work.
Right.
So, definitely not there yet.
Okay, I mean, so you mentioned that you've tried extreme diets like keto, IF, etc., and you also tried a sustainable approach that we preach, right? I mean, in terms of don't eat processed food, increase your protein intake, etc., etc., and you've tried our challenges as well. And of course, you had chronic pain like your knee issue, and which you've mentioned and highlighted that it kind of gets okay whenever you get back into a routine, follow the basic principles and everything. So, what would you say is your mantra for health today? If somebody came and asked you, tell me a few things that you do to take care of your health, or somebody who does not know what do I want to get started, what would you suggest them?
I mean, nothing drastic.
Okay.
Lovely.
So you'll tell them that. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not worked for me. And I don't think it sustains.
Correct.
And plus, we are not in the field where you have to look a certain kind of way and you have to.
Ah,
So,
ah.
Exactly.
what you're doing is for your own self.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is something that most people need to understand, because we start comparing our bodies with somebody else, and that tends us to take those drastic measures also.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then somebody says, oh, do this, this is a good diet to
Right.
follow.
Right.
And then you do it and you realize that this is also not sustaining.
Right.
And that
right.
it leads to other kind, like with keto for me, while I was able to do it for about 3-4 months, it led to terrible mood swings. And I was not liking the feeling, plus I was constantly on the edge figuring out what I could eat, what I could not eat. And yeah, I think just something like that is...
Yeah.
I mean, you even if you lost weight by doing something like that, you
Yeah.
would not be happy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always irritated, frustrated, and that doesn't help you get healthier in any
Yeah.
way.
Because if you're not feeling good, then I think there is no point of
Yeah.
it.
I mean, primarily you want to lose weight also for that reason only.
Yeah.
It's the only happy hormones that you're trying to run behind because of
Yeah.
which you get that.
True.
Right. How's your knee right now after having trained and got back now?
Much
Getting better?
Much better. I'm able to do floor exercises
Are you comfortable doing squats and all these things?
to a certain degree,
Okay.
but which was zero when I started
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
But getting down to the floor is been much easier. Like now I look forward to it rather than wanting to escape it. So,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay. One major change that back to basics as a whole, or even the community. I mean, okay, the program and the community holistically. One major change that would not have happened if back to basics didn't happen.
I'd say the working out.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So previously, that was completely like it was not in
Yeah.
your routine at all.
No,
Yeah.
it was not.
Yeah.
It was not. Like walking, I had done for about a year before joining the community actively. I enjoyed it. It had already been built into my routine. But
Right.
working out without having someone on the other side to coach, but more importantly, someone to tone it down to where I was starting out and with whatever my weaknesses were, and
right.
helping there was.
Right.
And I remember one of our earliest classes, which actually you were taking, and You know, for all the exercises you gave me variants. I don't think I could do any single. So from there, I think I'm happy
Till
with
there.
the kind of progress.
Because I've seen you in your initial days.
Yeah.
Anything that you would want to say to Back to Basics or us?
I'm grateful.
Okay.
I'm grateful. The community is really powerful. And I've added a lot of folks to the community as well. And I think it's a very organic way of building accountability.
Okay.
And the lifestyle score is my favorite part.
Oh, wow.
Because whether it's a good score or bad, it keeps pushing you to do better.
Then you're up
For
for a
your own
surprise
self.
soon.
Yeah. Then you're up for a surprise.
Real good surprise soon in about 2 weeks, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Sorry, I kind of
Yeah.
interrupted you.
No, but I think just broadly, I mean, I love to be a part of this community.
Thank you so
and,
much.
I'm glad that so many people are also benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for creating this.
Yeah, I think we've equally enjoyed it building with the community as much as whatever we might have thought of. Yes, I think we have a quick, short rapid fire for you.
Okay.
So we'll try and make it spicy. It's going to be interesting. There are going to be 10 questions. Nikita will fire it at them.
Okay.
And you have to be rapid on that.
And
Okay.
then you'll get a hamper because you are the only winner.
So it's
This is my coffee with Karan.
yes, everybody has that
Coffee
moment.
with Nikita and Nitish, no Karan.
Coffee with NN, not KW.
Okay. So your first question is upper body workouts or lower body workouts?
Upper body.
Okay. Walking or running?
Walking.
Burpee or push up?
Is there a neither
No.
option?
No. That is primarily why we've added
Okay,
those two
push-ups.
Push-ups. Walk to the grocery store or order grocery?
Order grocery.
Okay. Long walks or long drives?
Long drives.
Long drives.
Okay.
Okay. Pets or humans?
Humans.
Dal chawal or pizza?
Dal chawal.
Nice.
Early riser or late riser?
Late riser.
Weekend movie or weekend trek?
Movie.
Movie. Okay. And the last one is back to basics online or back to basics offline?
Online.
Online. Okay.
Lovely.
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 Yeah.
Great answers, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I think thank you very much, Shruti, for joining us. It was lovely
Thank you
having
so
you.
much.
We have a
We-
quick short thank you
Hamper for you.
from us.
Hope you
That's
enjoy
yours.
it.
Hope you enjoy it. And thank you to our sponsors for having helped us
Yeah.
with this.
We'll
Yes.
just take a picture.
Yeah, we'll quickly have a picture.
Thank you.
Okay.
I
Thank
hope
you
you
once
liked
again.
it.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And everyone else, thank you so much for joining in for this episode. We'll be back with one more episode, which is going to be our last one of this series. And stay tuned. Until then, stay fit, stay healthy, and stick to the basics.